In this video, I want to share a little bit of research I've been doing today with you, and hopefully this is helpful. And the reason I want to share this is because of the news that's been going on. So this is a fundamental video on the fundamental news of the markets. Trump has been claiming that he's going to put a tariff on Mexico if they don't get their act together and start helping with the immigration problems. And in particular, I want to talk a little bit about companies who have large holdings in Mexico. And if we take a look, I've got a list here that we've compiled, and this list tells us that we have, and I'm just going to look at this top list here, this down to about 10%. You can see over here percentage of assets in Mexico. So we have a list of these: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is the top 10 companies with the largest holdings in Mexico, and they should be affected by this tariff, right? So that's the fundamental information. And then, of course, the House came out today and said that they were going to block that they were not going to allow him to put a tariff on Mexico. So they were going to pass a bill, and that's why we had positive rebound news today in all of these markets. As you can see, I've got them listed over here in the watch list, and every single one of them are up big today. Okay, so the one that's up the largest is this first one that we're looking at. This is AD&T, or Adient PLC. Adient, of course, is a company that has auto parts and equipment. Now that's what they do, and they have that manufactured down in Mexico. And so they're up big today because of that news that the House is going to block Trump from putting his tariffs on. Now, it's also been said that there's been several Republicans who agree with that they don't want the tariffs to go through either. But there's also been rumors that it's not even going to make it to the Senate floor to be voted on. So as soon as the House came out and said that they were going to shoot it down, the Senate came back and said, well, we're not going to even put it on the floor for a vote. So we have a little bit of a fight going on, and Trump says, hey, you know what? You'd be ridiculous to go and try and stop me. We're going to make this happen anyway. And so we're kind of in limbo right now. The good news was for the market that the tariffs were not going to go on. That's why we have this huge rally in all of these stocks that are heavy into the Mexican economy. Now, I'm just going to roll down through these stocks. We're going to come over here, and we'll talk a little bit about them as we come down. Actually, I'm going to come over to the chart side, and we're going to look at the heavy in Mexico stocks. And AD&T, of course, is the first one. That's an auto parts company, and you can see they rallied big. They were the largest increase in value today. And as we just roll down through them, you can see this is another one. This is Crown Holdings. Crown Holdings makes metal and glass containers. All right, so they're metal and glass containers, and they're heavy in Mexico. We have Fortune Homes Brands and Security, and of course those guys produce building products, and they're manufactured down in Mexico. And we're going to swing down here. This is another big jump here today based on the news. You got a big gap here. Of course, remember, gaps were meant to be filled. And this is Kansas City Southern. This is a railroad company. And so we're going to go down through here. There's another one. Lear Corporation had a big, huge rise in price, filled that gap, and it rose very strongly off of this market, breaking new highs, breaking that Bulls and Bears blue light, which is important to us as technical traders. So we want to watch this very closely if you're interested in this market. Lear Corporation, they make auto parts. Let's come down here. This is Lennox International. Of course, we all know Lennox. They made the news big time, building products. Trump made them famous with a large holding down in Mexico. Pilgrim Pride. Pilgrim Pride, they are packaged foods and meats. We're most of us familiar with this company. And we got a strong sell signal on here. We're coming to a decision point, actually. This one here, as you can see, has a little pennant formation. And that is a continuation formation where this market's going sideways. We have the Bulls and Bears indicator. We have the average true range has dropped. We're coming across here. We're crossing over the 50-day moving average. This is a strong bias to the downside on this market. It didn't rally hard with the news that the House wasn't going to allow the tariffs. So that's very disconcerting to the Pilgrim Pride company. That looks like that stock's going to fall quite significantly in here. In fact, we could come in. Let's look and see if there's an option opportunity in here. Come out to some options. Oh, look, they're very inexpensive. We're going to come in here and we're going to buy a put. We're going to drop that right in there. 160 bucks a piece. We're going to buy, let's put about 5 grand into this. 3, 4, 5. So we'll put that in there, $5,000. Actually, let's do it like this. Let's come in here and we'll do 2,500 to the downside. 2,500 to the downside, and we're going to put 2,500 to the upside, but we're going to do it on a shorter term option. Let's come in here. We'll know within 17 days, 45 days. Let's come in here and buy a call, and we're going to do a call right here. We're just going to straddle this little wedge formation. We're going to come in here, and we're going to do 2,500 equal dollar amount, 2,500 right in there. So we have 24 long, and this is 16 short. We're going to go ahead, that's the same dollar amount roughly, $2,500. And so we are going to take some positions on this market, Pilgrim's Pride, based on this decision point. So notice that we have the downside bias on this one. We took 108 days. We spent a little bit more money to the options to the downside. We put in our insurance policy to the upside in case we're wrong and this market rallies. It's a shorter term time frame, only 45 days of insurance on this one. So it will decay much more quickly. So this market's going to have to move for us in the downside position to make a profit, and then this is just insurance to the upside. All right, let's come back to our charts. We're going to go down to the next one. This was a big rally on the Regional Boylet Corporation. Regional Boylet, Beloit, I'm not sure how I'm pronouncing that correctly. They're electric components and equipment. So that's what they manufacture down in Mexico. And they've had a big rally today on the news that Trump might not get his tariffs put through. So whether you're going to bet on Trump or not, one way or the other, whether you think he'll get those tariffs put through, the market didn't think that he's going to based on the House's rejection of that information. We're going to come down here one more. And here again, Sensata Technology Holdings, Sensata Electronic Components and Equipment, manufacturer down in Mexico, had a big rally today. We're going to watch that one. Come down here to Skyworks Solutions. Now they're coming into a little pattern in here. Nice, beautiful little wedge formation as well. And we have a big drive down, look for a small set of dots, and another big set of dots would be the traditional means of playing this market, right? But that would be looking for a rally and then another drop, breaking those blue lights. This is the little pattern that we look for here, so that's kind of what we'll look for and watch for on Skyworks. All right, and that's just a quick wrap up of some of the companies that are very heavily invested in the Mexican economy.